Hello, everyone. Welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a like up. Mariah flashes back to her terrible secret, and Phyllis scores a win after sparring with Sally Friday, June 6, 2025. Today on The Young and the Restless, Tessa leans on Daniel. Sharon tries to pry Mariah's secret from her, and Victoria worries about Cole. In the park, Tessa and Daniel chat as they tune their guitars. He realizes she's distracted and she admits she hasn't been sleeping well. She's a little flat today. Daniel asks if Aria got the bug that's going around. Tessa admits it's Mariah that's got her tossing and turning. Things have been weird between them. My wife isn't really talking to me, and I don't know why. Tessa explains that she's been patient, but Mariah won't admit there's anything going on. She's caught Mariah crying, and she wants to reach out, but she clearly wants to be left alone. I have to break through. Daniel asks if she thinks this is about Ian. Tessa says this feels different. It feels darker. That's why she's so scared for her. How can she help her if she doesn't know what's going on? Daniel would like to be supportive of Tessa and tells her he can listen and give her his 2 cents. He recalls how, in the past, he kept his pain inside. He shut his family out and hurt them. He was wallowing in his pain, so he made decisions he later came to regret. To go it alone, for one. He neglected his duties as a husband and father. Heather could see what he was dealing with, but he turned away. Tessa asks if he thinks she needs to give Mariah more time. Daniel thinks that's what she needs. Tessa complains that her wife is carrying some horrible secret. She can't stand by while it tears her apart. Daniel reminds Tessa that Mariah knows she's there. Tessa complains that she put up a wall between them. Should she ask Sharon and the rest of the family to talk to her? Daniel worries Mariah would feel ganged up on. He suggests she chip away at the wall instead. Tessa starts playing her guitar and Daniel joins in. Tessa grins. They just wrote a song together. Daniel tells Tessa their song doesn't sound half bad. Tessa begins putting words to it as they strum, but becomes emotional and tears up. Daniel worries he pushed too hard, but she assures him he was just being a friend when she desperately needed one. Maybe she needs these lessons as much as he does. Daniel tells her watching her put words to music is incredible. Mariah melts. Down at Sharon's place, a distracted-looking Mariah is thanked by Sharon for her good work. She appreciates her covering for her when she was in London and tells her daughter that what Ian Ward did to her is not her fault. Mariah tries to change the subject, but Sharon knows she's carrying a lot. Has she told Tessa what happened while she was away? Mariah won't be telling Tessa. It's behind her. Sharon doesn't think she's put it behind her and warns she must deal with her trauma before it's too late. Sharon doesn't want to pressure Mariah, but she can see how much this is hurting her. Her light has gone out. Whatever she thinks she's doing to deal with her feelings isn't working. Mariah will pull herself together. Sharon argues it's not that easy. She's done what she's doing and knows it doesn't work. Mariah tries to shut her mother down, but Sharon warns she has to let this out. If she can't tell Tessa the truth, then tell me. Mariah can't even admit it to herself, let alone Tessa. Sharon swears if she tells her it will stay between them with no judgment. She has some idea of what happened. Were you with someone else? Did you have a one-night stand? Mariah wants to tell her, but she just can't. Sharon warns keeping the secret might do more damage than whatever it is she did. Mariah says it was so much worse than a one-night stand. It's just so wrong. That's why I'm so twisted up about it. I don't understand. A one-night stand, she could confess and ask for Tessa's forgiveness, but this, she doesn't even know how to begin to tell Tessa about what she's done. Mariah promises Sharon she'll get it together. Sharon reminds her they've been there before, only it was her begging her to get help. You did not give up on me then, and I'm not going to give up on you now. Mariah says, that was different. Sharon says sometimes they need to trust someone. She could recommend a therapist. If she talks to someone about her trauma, it will get better. Mariah says talking to a stranger is what got her here in the first place, but she can't tell Sharon. Her mother asks to hold her. They embrace, and then Mariah rushes off. Victoria's fear at the ranch. Nick and Nikki discuss Victor snubbing Michael at her party. She confides that Lauren thinks her husband is regretting his decision. Victoria comes in and says there's no change with Cole. Claire's with him and they'll take turns. He has to feel better, Mom. He just has to. Victoria admits she's feeling helpless. Cole needs all of his energy just to talk. Nick and Nikki reassure her the doctors will heal him. She's being strong for him and Claire, so they'll be strong for her. Victoria's just so scared for him. Victoria suggests she stay back from Dumas's party since Cole's in the hospital. She'll hold down the fort at Newman. Nick tells her they'll make sure this guy knows Chancellor is off limits. They know. He got in touch with Billy. Nikki says Victor owns Chancellor and no one can change that, though she has reservations about the party invitation. Nick admits it feels like they're lambs being led to the slaughter. Nick assures his sister that Dumas is no match for the Newmans. Victoria wonders if Dumas is luring everyone to France so he can make some kind of attack on Chancellor while they're away. Nick thinks that would be a mistake and reminds them that Dumas has invited all of the power families in Genoa City. Nikki vows they won't come back until they know what he wants and who he plans to use to get it. Nikki and Nick assure Victoria that once Cole gets back on his feet, everything will be all right. They go over pneumonia being scary, but Cole being in the best hospital. Love is the best medicine. Phyllis vs. Sally. Billy kisses Sally upon arrival. At the club. His phone rings. It's Tracy, and he steps away to take it. Phyllis comes down the stairs and gets in Sally's face. Not very good at watching your back, are you? Sally tells Phyllis she's not afraid of her. Phyllis says, then you are dumber than you appear. They trade insults as Phyllis points out that there isn't any man Sally's dated in this town who hasn't employed her. She wonders, who's your next sucker? Sally asks if Phyllis really wants to compare resumes. Billy interrupts, and Phyllis stalks off. Billy asks if Sally's all right. She says her day will only get better from here. Billy and Sally sit, and she says she's been thinking about his proposal to postpone their launch until after Dumas's party. He asks if it's bonjour or au revoir. Sally loves France, so the answer is oui. Having some extra time will be a good thing. Besides, she didn't want him to go without her. She'll make sure he doesn't do anything he'll regret. She fears he'll try and charm Dumas into trying to steal Chancellor back from the Newmans. Sally and Billy discuss Dumas' intentions. Billy wants to know his endgame. Sally warns him to be careful this close to their launch. Billy reassures her, and they gush about having a romantic getaway and kiss. Sally wants to go upstairs. Billy does too. At the bar, Phyllis texts Amanda, "Where are you? If you don't want me to crash this party, get me on the list." When Phyllis finally gets a call back from Amanda, she's over the moon to hear that her pal got her onto the guest list for the party in Nice. Billy and Sally reappear in time to hear her say, "I'll see you in France." Billy asks, "You're going to Aristotle's party?" Phyllis says, of course she is. She guesses they're not a part of this. Sally needles that she'll have to figure out what to wear. Showing up in the same outfit as Phyllis would be awkward. For you, Phyllis understands why Billy's invited, but does he really want to tarnish his reputation with Sally? Sally needles that Phyllis just got her invitation. She's a seat filler. They go over the guest list. Sally says they've all got impressive careers except Phyllis. Daniel shows up and Phyllis drags him off to give him her news. Sally fumes. Aristotle invited Phyllis? Billy wonders. What is he up to? They puzzle over it, and Billy asks if Sally's having second thoughts about going. Sally won't let Phyllis scare her off. Billy won't let her stop him from finding out what Dumas' up to. This is going to be one hell of a night. Daniel asks about Phyllis's good news with trepidation. Phyllis is irked by his attitude, but tells him she just got her foot in the door. She's one step closer to blowing everyone in that town out of the water. Mariah's memories in the park. Mariah sits on a bench and flashes to drinking in a hotel. An older man, bold and beautiful alum, Michael Swan, walks up and says, "Someone looks like they could use a friend." In the present, Mariah cringes and sighs. Tessa comes along and greets her wife. Mariah asks how she found her. Tessa says it was just luck and asks why she's not at work. Mariah says she decided to get some fresh air. Tessa tells her she had her guitar lesson with Daniel and asks if she wants to hear their new song. Mariah says, "Sure." Tessa belts out the song, which is all about someone hurting someone unintentionally. Mariah chokes up. "I love you so much." Tessa loves her too. "So will you please just tell me what's going on?" The sun dipped beneath the Genoa city skyline, casting long shadows across the Abbott estate. Inside society, chatter filled the upscale restaurant, but Mariah Copeland barely heard any of it. She sat frozen at her usual corner table, untouched coffee in front of her, her fingers trembling as they clutched the porcelain cup. It had started again, the memories she'd worked so hard to repress. Her eyes darted toward the entrance every time the door swung open. Rationally, she knew she was safe, but that didn't stop the images from flooding her mind. The cold, sterile room, the chain on the door, and the sound of footsteps outside the walls. Cameron Grimes had always delivered emotional intensity, but this time, it was real. The trauma Mariah suffered during her abduction by Ian Ward's disciple had left deeper scars than anyone truly knew. Her heart pounded as the memory came rushing back again. The moment she realized she wasn't just a pawn, she was a surrogate, imprisoned for a twisted plan, the secret that haunted her. She never told Tessa the full story. Chapter 2. Sally's. Ultimatum. Across town, Sally Spectra paced the floor of her sleek office. The media launch for Newman Media's newest digital initiative was tomorrow, but it wasn't business on her mind. It was Phyllis Summers. Phyllis had cornered her in the lobby earlier that day, hurling accusations laced with passive-aggressive charm. "It's funny, Sally. You always seem to be near the chaos," she'd smirked. Sally, never one to back down, had responded with a venom-laced grin. "Better to be near it than be the cause of it, which you seem to have perfected." But under that steel exterior, Sally knew Phyllis held cards she couldn't yet see. Phyllis always did. And now, there was chatter that Phyllis had unearthed. Something. A piece of Sally's past she'd hoped would never surface. Sally made a call. "I need it buried. Whatever she thinks she found, make it disappear." On the other end of the line, a mysterious voice replied, "Too late." Chapter 3. Phyllis's power play at the Grand Phoenix. Phyllis poured herself a glass of champagne. Victory had a taste, and tonight it was cold, crisp, and bubbling. She'd spent the past 2 weeks meticulously digging into Sally's involvement in an old Las Vegas embezzlement case, something that had been quietly swept under the rug. Phyllis had no intention of turning Sally in. No, that wasn't her game. This was leverage. The red-haired firebrand thrived on strategy, not scorched earth tactics, and this time she had Sally exactly where she wanted her. As Nick Newman entered the bar, Phyllis gave him a coy smile. "You look smug," he said. "I am smug," she responded, clinking her glass to his. "It's been a good day." Nick arched a brow. "Should I ask?" Phyllis leaned in, voice low. "Let's just say Sally's going to be a bit more agreeable going forward." Nick shook his head, amused and slightly alarmed. "What did you do?" Leverage, Nicholas. Leverage. Chapter 4. Mariah's confession. Tessa Porter sat at the coffee shop, flipping through lyrics in her worn notebook, when Mariah finally arrived. Her face was pale, her eyes glassy. Tessa rose immediately. "What is it?" "I need to tell you something. Something I should have said a long time ago." They found a secluded booth. Mariah's hands wouldn't stop shaking. She reached for Tessa's, but paused. "I didn't tell you everything about when I was taken. You don't have to—" "No, I do." Mariah's voice cracked. "There was a moment when I thought I was going to die there. And I wasn't just afraid for myself. I was afraid for the baby. But that's not the worst part." Tessa squeezed her hand. "Whatever it is, I considered keeping the baby. I didn't want to. But I bonded with him, Bowie. And for a few terrifying moments, I thought I was meant to be his mother, not Abby." Tessa's expression shifted, not into anger, but understanding. No." Mariah blinked. "What?" "I always knew there was more. But I figured, when you were ready, you'd tell me." A beat passed. "You don't think I'm a monster?" "Mariah, you were kidnapped, locked away, manipulated. And still, you came back to us. That doesn't make you a monster. That makes you a survivor." Mariah finally let the tears fall. The catharsis, long overdue. Chapter 5. Alliances and Enemies. Meanwhile, Sally stormed into Victor Newman's office uninvited. She wasn't afraid of the man, though she respected his power. "We have a problem," she said. Victor leaned back in his chair. "We?" "Phyllis found something that could destroy my career. Possibly more." Victor steepled his fingers. "You're valuable, Sally. But I don't protect people who bring messes to my door. I've worked tirelessly for your company. I just need a little help. One call, one lawyer. That's all." Victor studied her. "If you want my help, prove you deserve it." "How?" "Dig up something I can use against Phyllis." Sally's jaw tightened. "You want me to blackmail the queen of blackmail?" Victor smirked. "Exactly." Chapter 6. Phyllis versus Sally. Round 2 days later, Phyllis strutted into society, looking every bit the conqueror. But the second she saw Sally seated at the bar, her mood soured. "What now?" she snapped. Sally turned, calm as ever. "You should be careful, Phyllis. Some skeletons don't stay buried." Phyllis's eyes narrowed. "Is that a threat?" "A promise," Sally purred. "You may have won a battle, but I'm not playing checkers. I'm playing chess." Phyllis stepped closer. "Then let's be clear. I have the receipts, Sally. One more move and they go public. Not if yours come out first." A tense silence fell between them. Sally finished her drink. "I'm done being bullied." Phyllis, unshaken, replied, "Then stop giving me reasons." Chapter 7. Redemption and Resolve. Later that night, Mariah sat alone in the apartment she now shared with Tessa, staring at the sonogram photo Abby had given her months ago, a memento of a time both beautiful and agonizing. But now, for the first time, she didn't feel overwhelmed with guilt. Tessa's acceptance had opened a door, and she was ready to walk through it. She opened her laptop and began to write. Not a blog, not a journal, but a letter. To Bowie. Not for him to read now, but for someday. Dear Dominic. It wasn't closure. It was the beginning of healing. Chapter 8. Phyllis's unexpected win. The next morning, Sally received a notice. Her planned expansion project with Newman Media had been shelved. Someone had pulled strings, and there was no doubt who. Phyllis. But she didn't gloat in public. Instead, she invited Sally to the Grand Phoenix for a conversation. When Sally arrived, Phyllis didn't smile. I don't want to destroy you, she said quietly. I just want you to stop pretending you're untouchable. Sally was stunned. That's rich, coming from you. I've made my share of mistakes, but I own them. You hide behind reinvention. Sally folded her arms. You scored your win. Now what? Phyllis paused. Now, I watch what you do next. Chapter 9. Final Reflections. Back at Crimson Lights, Mariah sat across from Sharon, who noticed her lighter demeanor. You seem at peace. For now, Mariah said. I told Tessa everything. Sharon smiled. That's a big step. I'm not done healing, but I'm not hiding anymore. As they hugged across town, Sally looked over her shoulder, for once unsure of her next move. And in her suite, Phyllis leaned against the balcony, watching the city lights flicker. She had won. For now. But in Genoa City, victory is temporary. Secrets are eternal.